Hi there, welcome to Gaining Vision. Thanks so much for clicking. To my returning subscribers, I truly appreciate your continuous love and support. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please feel at home. There's been a lot of excitement happening in South Africa. And in fact, a number of events happened just recently. The EFF celebrated their 10th anniversary. And it was amazing to see all of the preparation that went into this. A lot of activities were happening over the few days: a carnival, a gala dinner, a breakfast, and a rally at the FNB Stadium. But what I really want to talk about is the reaction to the events. We know there was tons of people attending these events and celebrating this huge milestone. But what I found so incredible was the reaction to it. Not only was it about, wow, they really had a lot of turnout. They really were celebrating in style. Not that kind of reaction. It was a reaction of the other political parties. And I thought we'd dive into this. At the rally at the stadium, which was filled to capacity, over 100,000 people in attendance. The leader of the EFF was addressing the crowd, and in this speech he was calling for peace and other things to rally his followers and people from his party. He ended up with a song, a chant, where the entire stadium was talking about it, or singing along with him.
Kichi, kichi, kichima, Cyprian Konto Alliance. Shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the boer, the farmer, kill the boer, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr.
And in this was the one sentence: kill the boers, kill the farmers. And this went viral. This went off because people started talking about it. Now, let's be clear, this is a struggle song. This is a song that Julius Malema did not create. This is something from the apartheid times. And this was something that is not referring to actually individuals. It's in fact talking about going against oppression, against systemic racism, and being oppressed. It's about a group of individuals and about something that African culture was fighting against. This was sung a lot in the 1990s. And at no time was it ever given to be towards any individual. And in fact, the former president, Taddeo-Nxumalo, talked a lot about it. And I'd like to play this video clip for you to hear exactly what the struggle song was actually all about.
To talk about African tradition. There's no such thing as, this was not a statement. It's not a statement of any kind. And wouldn't be read by any of this African youth as a statement. In Xhosa, this particular form of art, similar, is called igwijo. And igwijo is not a statement. It's not a political statement. It's a chant. You use it to miss. For instance, Amakwengwe, when they are going over long distances, they would be doing this thing. It's not a statement. You see, part of the problem with this is that somebody who comes from outside of that African culture interpreted it. And indeed, when you then write there, Peter Mukaba said, kill the boer, kill a farmer, he didn't. In the sense of a statement which represents policy. And it would not have been taken as a statement that represents policy. So there's no ANC policy which says kill a farmer, kill a boer and all that. But there would be amagwijo of all sorts. You have a Zulu song, not quite a Igwijo, but it's traditional songs. No, it's not a statement. It's not a statement I'm making that I will never visit Zululand. It's a song. I don't think we really... I really don't think that this... Certainly, I don't know, Peter, whether Peter is here. He likes doing these things. And you could do different ones and we could translate them. They're different chants. And they would be saying different things. Different things about the struggle. This particular one was picked out, as I say, and interpreted from outside of African culture and presented as a political statement. It never was.
So I think he explains it very clearly here that this was just not a political statement, but a political song that helped people that were fighting against the struggle stay connected, stay motivated, and move forward. At no time did anyone in the 1990s, or even currently, go out and kill anybody. It's nothing against the whites. It's about anti-oppression.
We've been chanting this slogan for years. And even in this, during the funeral, we sang about Hambaka Mkonto, and we pointed out in a song that we are determined to kill the boers. That is the literal sense. But that has never been policy of the ANC. The question of boer has changed in content on the basis of the realities of the situation and our policy. It has always meant the enemy as a system of white supremacy and has never meant any individual on the basis of this or that color. And even as we chanted these slogans during the armed struggle, they have never driven us to the houses of the whites or to the farmers as individuals to kill them. Now, what has changed?
And this is part of the African culture. In fact, Julius Malema went to court over this exact statement. And he won in court, and the courts agreed that in fact this was not against any person or individual, it is actually against the movement, the oppression that the many black Africans were feeling at the time.
There is no song, kill the boer, kill the farmer. That's a chant. We over-explained it in court. If you have a problem with it, go to the records of the courts. Don't be lazy to read, man, and ask me the same thing all again and again and again. And I won in court. The court said there's nothing wrong singing kill the boer, kill the farmer. There is a court decision that must be respected. Those who have appealed it, they must go and fight it in court. We won, and we shall sing this song in line with the court decision. The Court of South Africa, an independent court, has made a declaration on this matter and is closed. Pretending that she's angry. If Helen Zille was genuinely opposed to this, I don't even want to talk about that illiterate John Steeinhuisen. If Helen was opposed to this for real, why didn't Helen join the case? Why didn't the DA join the case when I was taken to Equality Court? Why didn't the Freedom Front join the case if they are genuine? So I'm not going to over-explain myself. I will sing this song as in when I feel like. It's not my song, it's a struggle song.
It is part of their history, and therefore, it is something that all Africans join into as they were going through the struggle. So at this event, it wasn't out of place, but many political parties and analysts jumped on this right off the bat, including the leader of the DA, John Steeinhuisen. And he was going after it as a literal statement that Julius Malema was enticing people to go out and kill the Boers and kill farmers. And in fact, that was totally not what he was doing. What John was doing was he was enticing fear amongst the white Africans. He even took it as far as that he was going to go to the United Nations and charge Julius Malema, not the EFF, but Julius himself, and really talked about how the United Nations on an international level were going to come at and take him down. He also talked about going after the ANC for not ensuring that they were speaking up against Julius. what I find really interesting in this clip that I'm going to play is that he speaks calm and he talks about what they want is peace and unity. And in fact, that's what Julius was actually talking about in his speech. But he took this one sentence from a struggle song that is not meant to entice violence and turned it completely against Julius. So let's take a listen to that clip.
That is why I can today announce that we are filing charges against both Julius Malema and the ANC government at the United Nations Human Rights Council. The first element of our United Nations case will focus on Malema's repeated incitement of ethnic violence. The second element will charge the ANC national government before the United Nations over its years-long failure to take action against their one-time protege, even as brutal farm murders continue to escalate in the wake of Malema's demagoguery. The charge will be laid in terms of Malema's violation of at least 3 key UN charters. The first is the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Article 3 of the Convention makes it a punishable offence to direct and publicly incite people to commit mass murder on the basis of their identity. The second is a declaration on the rights of persons belonging to national or ethnic, religious and linguistic minorities. This declaration compels the South African government to ensure that persons belonging to minority groups may exercise their rights, including, in this case, the right to life and to practice the profession of farming without any discrimination. The third is Article 27 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The DA recently forced the South African government to live up to its international responsibility to comply with warrants issued by the International Criminal Court. We will now do the same to force it to act against Malema. In addition to turning to the international community, we will also file a complaint with Parliament's Ethics Committee against Malema in his capacity as a Member of Parliament. We are further obtaining legal advice on approaching the Public Protector as well as the courts.
Now, I'll let you decide what you think about that statement, but I was shocked. Why is it that he is taking it to the United Nations? Why is he not taking it to the South African courts? Now, he's claiming that South African courts won't do anything about it. But here's the thing, it is a South African issue. At no time during apartheid did anyone take them to the Human Rights Commission, and the atrocities that happened during apartheid were numerous. And I can't believe that he is using this as a place to entice fear amongst his followers. But I didn't stop there. I needed to understand it a bit more, and I did some more research, and I came across a video by Carl Nyhaus. My apologies for the pronunciations. And he is a former white member of the ANC party, and he shares his thoughts on this statement, again agreeing that at no time is it against an individual. In fact, it is against the oppression. So let's take a listen to this clip here.
Good morning. I'm standing on this brisk, cold winter's morning, and I thought I should say a couple of words about the whole hullabaloo that is now going on about this revolutionary song and slogan, kill the boer, kill the farmer. This is an opportunistic, cynical approach by white racists such as John Steeinhuisen in the Democratic Alliance. I want to address specifically this morning the white Afrikaans and especially the Afrikaner community. Don't allow your most base fears, the emotions that is being whipped up by white racists, to control your experience of South Africa. understand the historical context in which that liberation song, that liberation slogan, kill the boer, kill the farmer, came about through the history of our country. I'm speaking to you today as a white South African revolutionary who has, for the whole of my adult life, participated in the liberation struggle against apartheid. I was a member of Umkhonto weSizwe and a member of the African National Congress until I eventually resigned from the ANC because I believed the ANC had sold out. However, during all the years of the liberation struggle and many events that I attended where that slogan, that song, kill the boer, kill the farmer, was chanted and sang, I never once felt threatened. In fact, I participated in singing the song, in chanting the slogan, because I understood that it was directed against a system, not against individuals, not against a particular race group. I would like to invite you, as my fellow South Africans and white South Africans and Afrikaans-speaking South Africans, to also listen to the short clip that I've included in this video recording of President Thabo Mbeki explaining the cultural history and background to songs and slogans like this. Now, I'm not the greatest of fans of Thabo Mbeki. In fact, I've criticized him many a time. But on this issue, he was absolutely spot on. I also would like you to listen to what Peter Mokaba himself said about this slogan, how he contextualized and explained it. And then may the white Afrikaans-speaking community in South Africa ask themselves, are we not being manipulated? Are we not being directed to react in a certain way by cynical, opportunistic politicians, such as John Steeinhuisen in the Democratic Alliance?
See, even though Karl may not have been a fan of former President Thabo Mbeki, but he definitely agreed that this is not enticing any sort of violence, as well as he sees it as the DA using as a ploy to entice fear. I thought this was a great perspective. But of course, I didn't stop there either, because I needed to understand more. I wanted to get the big picture all across South Africa of what this actually meant to many people. Because with the EFF, it's a celebration, it's a speech that's rallying everybody together to get behind the support of the EFF. For the DA, it's enticing fear, and he's going to the United Nations. For Karl, he sees it from a very different perspective. And I was listening to the political analyst, Asanta, from SABC, when she was being interviewed, and she shared her thoughts, not only from the perspective of thoughts on the EFF, but also on the DA. So let's take a listen to her clip as well.
And coming out of this weekend, of course, the hot topic is indeed that chant, that slogan, kill the boer. Once again, Julius Malema singing and chanting that song at the FNB Stadium. You know, what do you think when you look at Julius Malema and how he went about making sure that he will indeed sing that song, knowing very well that it was before the courts, and it's something that many South Africans, or some South Africans, find very uncomfortable with him singing, hence why we saw that court action being taken by AfriForum?
Well, it doesn't surprise me on either end, because I think, Black people have a right to sing their struggle songs. They have a right to reminisce about the struggle that they've just, underwent, and that's still incomplete. And I think that, people should have a right to sing songs of the past that speak to the people they feel have oppressed them and continue to oppress them. And I think, it's ludicrous, this idea that the DA has taken this as far as the UN Human Rights Council and all of that. Why aren't they taking racism in South Africa and the continued racist acts by the DA itself that they support to the UN Human Rights Council? Why are they only suddenly understanding knowing that these institutions exist and that human rights are something that should be fought for, when it's Black people who are calling for whatever it is that they're calling for? It doesn't surprise me, because of course, if you are the DA, you are a political party that constantly says that they don't recognize the importance of having race be a factor in policy making. In fact, they don't think race should play any factor at all, and they see themselves as colorblind. And that's anybody that does that is somebody who refuses to acknowledge, apartheid and the role that it played, and colonialism before that, and every other system of oppression, including slavery before that, and the role that it played and continues to play in South Africa, and how the past is linked to the present. That's why to this day in South Africa, to be white is to be wealthy, and to be Black is to be poor, because that's how the government set it up. And so what we're seeing is what we're seeing globally, wherein racist white people who are used to getting their own way, who are used to being at the center of dialogue and conversations, are going as far as using the very instruments that have been put in place to protect those who have been marginalized, who have been racialized, and who have been minoritized. And they are now taking those very instruments and using them against those very people. And I think it would be amiss of the UN Human Rights Council to find any other way, or to not actually engage with that perspective and with the fact that we are coming out of a white-dominated, brutal system of apartheid as South Africa, and that there isn't, anywhere on the planet that South Africa, or white South Africans in particular, can go and claim to be the new victims after denigrating Black lives for so long.
So now we've listened to all of these perspectives. What are your thoughts? For me, what I'm really looking at this is, with any political equation, there's always going to be different perspectives. There's going to be different ways. But I think the bottom line is that we have to understand the history. We have to understand where the struggle song came from, knowing the purpose of it and why it was. And why are people picking on one sentence out of Julius's entire speech, entire event of celebration of 10 years? And why is it only Julius they're picking on, not the entire party? We know there's always going to be different perspectives and different agendas when it comes to any political point of view. But in this time, it's all about the celebration. It's about the achievement of a party celebrating 10 years. I would love to hear your perspectives in the comments, so please drop them below. Now, there's going to be a lot of activity happening in South Africa over the coming months to come, but I wanted to congratulate the EFF, all of the people involved in these celebrations, because it looked like it was a great time had by all, and it takes a long time and a lot of organization to plan such an activity. So congratulations, all the very best. But I encourage us all to pay attention to what's happening in South Africa and to keep in mind that every topic has different perspectives, and it's important and it's up to us to do our research, to hear all sides of the story in order to form our own opinion. Until next time, please do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take a second, hit subscribe, and please don't forget to like and share. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.